Hey there nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back with an episode of Cheap Shots. This series focuses on the money-saving aspects of the hobby, and on today's episode we're going to talk about using Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team Hierotek Circle in your games of Necromunda. Games Workshop has been releasing some really cool and really amazing looking box sets for miniatures for the Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team lineup, and a lot of players of course want to be able to use those miniatures in more than just using it in Kill Team. Now luckily you can use a lot of these miniatures in Kill Team as well as in Warhammer 40,000, but this series is going to be focusing on using these same Kill Teams in your campaigns of Necromunda as well. After all, if you use the same set of box set miniatures for multiple gaming systems, then you're basically achieving the money-saving goal, and that's exactly what this episode focuses on. So we're going to do a couple things in this video. The first thing we're going to do, of course, is provide some background information on the narrative of how this gang is supposed to fit in the setting of the Necromunda Underhive universe. At the same time, we'll also talk about the playstyle of this gang based on the 2,000 point roster that I created. That way you could use these guys on the tabletop and to dominate. I'm also going to show you a 2,000 point roster using these miniatures in your campaigns in Necromunda, so that way you can play in the Aranthian Succession or in just normal games of Necromunda. And then we're also going to show you a quick little video about how to use this on the tabletop and how this game will perform when you engage your opponents in your individual battles. And then finally give you an overall conclusion of this box set. So that being said, let's get this video on a roll. So, narratively speaking, the background information about this gang is that these are Venator bounty hunters or the House Vansar legacy. The idea is supposed to be is that one of two things is happening. Either one, the Vansar guys have done too much cybernetic augmentations themselves, and so now they're like T-800 cyborg killers and they've gone loose, or two, they are Vansar automata that has basically become cognizant and self-aware, and they are now just roaming free, trying to survive any way they can. Either way, the idea is supposed to be that these guys are now directly in the Underhive. You could also say too that there are just Necrons who just got found in the bottom vault of Necromunda. That also works as well. Now they're making their way in the Underhive as ruthless bounty hunters because they need parts, money for parts, and also to equip weapons to protect themselves, and that is the background narrative behind this gang. Now the playstyle we're going to have for this gang is actually going to be a good balance between shooting as well as close combat as well. Because they are Vansar bounty, you're going to be Vansar bounty hunters, and that the sense that all the fighters in this gang will have the Vansar legacy for themselves, they can purchase Vansar weapons which are really good at shooting and also, oddly enough, really good at close combat as well. But you're going to use the Venator's better close combat stats in order to do that, so that we can take advantage and get the best of both worlds on it. Now, unfortunately, because of this is also going to be a very high cost gang to play as well, with really low gang numbers. But you do have additional miniatures in this box that you can use to make this game grow just a little bit further if you want to. And let's face it, you only get so many miniatures in this box anyway, so we're going to give them the best equipment they need to be successful on the tabletop as well. So now that we're done talking about the narrative as well as the playstyle for this gang, let's go and talk about the gang roster. So once again, the Hierotek Circle will be a Venator bounty hunter gang, and for the Aranthian Succession, you're going to get this at 2,000 credits on a 2,000 point list. You can, of course, make this and modify any way you want to play at a 1,000 point list, but we're just going to assume that you want to be in the Aranthian Succession for this one. Now, because you're a Venator gang, you do have a choice of your primary and secondary skills. So your primary skills in this gang will be shooting and combat, while your secondary skills will be Savant as well as Cunning. Now, your Cryptic in their box, it's going to be your Hunt Leader. It's going to cost you 455 credits. You're going to give them the versatile stat line for the Hunt Leader's stats, as well as a House Vansar legacy, as well as an armor undersuit with mesh armor for that 4-up armor save. You equip this guy with a high store energy shield, so that way he has good defense and offensive capabilities, plasma grenades for blizzard explosions, as well as a last cutter for close combat, so that way you can cause all kinds of problems for your enemies. And lastly, you're also going to attach this guy with a cyber arachnid as well to get benefits from being attacked, as well as the iron will skill, so that way, because you are going to definitely take bottle tests with the lower miniature count, so it's going to mitigate things a little bit easier for your gang, so that way they stay in the fight longer. Now your Printech is going to be your Hunt Champion number 1. He's going to cost you 355 credits. This guy's got versatile stat lines with a House Vansar legacy cost, armor undersuit with mesh armor for that 4-up armor save, a higher strength energy shield for close combat attacks, plasma grenades for weapon attacks, shooting attacks, as well as a last cutter for close combat attacks as well. And you can give this guy the Rain of Blow skill, so that way fighting for him is a simple action as well. And these are going to be your two main close combat killing machines in this gang. Now your Death Mark's going to be your second Hunt Champion. He's going to cost you 420 credits. This guy's got a shooting stat stat line from the champion list. He's also going to have a House Vansar Legacy, Armor Undersuit and Mesh Armor for 4-up armor save. You're going to give him high strike energy shields, that way he has good defense in close combat, as well as give this guy a last cannon with a suspenser, so that way he can fire the last cannon as a basic action as well. And you can also give this guy the trick shot ability, so that way he gets bonuses for shooting at longer ranges and at enemies behind cover as well. This guy is going to be one-shotting fools like it's nobody's business. After that, you're going to have 3 Immortals, and all 3 Immortals will be exactly the same. All 3 will be Hunters. All 3 will cost you 240 credits apiece. All 3 will have versatile stat lines. They'll also have House Vansar Legacies. They'll have Armor Undersuits and Mesh Armor for that 4-up armor save. You're also giving them Spider Rigs, and the reason why you're going to do that is so that way they can fight really good in close combat with versatile attacks. Purpose of the fact that they're, cybernetic killing machines, and that's the reason why you have that. They're also going to have last sub-carbines for rapid fire attacks with a hot shot last pack to make those rapid fire attacks strength 4. And then lastly, you're going to have a rogue doc for 50 credits, and that's going to make up the gang for this one. Now for your gang overview, you're basically going to have 2 fire teams. You're going to have Assault Fire Team, which consists of your Cryptek, your Apprentech, as well as Immortal number 1, and you have a Support Fire Team, which consists of your Deathmark, Immortal number 2, and Immortal number 3. So now that we're going to talk about the roster for this gang, let's talk about exactly how you would use it on the tabletop. Alright, so let's go on and talk about using the Hierotek Circle in your games in Necromunda on the tabletop. And as you can see here, I pretty much have a little strip map here. The hexagons represent your enemy your enemy fire teams, while these ones are your fire teams down over here. Over here on this left right hand side will be your Assault Fire Team with your Cryptek, as well as your Apprentech and Immortal number 1. Sorry about that, made a little error there. Go ahead and fix that real quick. And then of course your Support Fire Team consists of your Deathmark, Immortal number 2, and Immortal number 3. Now what's going to happen is this: your Support Fire Team is going to lay down some pretty devastating heavy fire in terms of the hot shot laskas they also have. At the same time, you're also going to be shooting quite a bit with your Deathmark opening up with your last cannon and destroying opponents that way. Now while that's happening, what's going to happen is your Assault Fire Team is going to start moving towards an exposed flank directly towards your enemies. Now you do have some longer range shooting with Immortal number 1, because that guy is still armed with a hot shot lasgun, so that part will be kind of nice for you to use, directing your shooting directly towards your enemies. So that's going to help you out to do that. And then your main killers are going to be your Cryptek and your Apprentech. They have the energy shields. They also have those really powerful last cutters, so they cause all kinds of hell. What they're going to do is they're going to move right through your enemy and actually engage them in close quarters combat, slicing those guys up while they're doing so. Now from there, of course, once they're done achieving that objective, they're going to then move through the entirety of the objective, going through the flank and actually slicing up anybody that stands in the way while they're doing this. While that's happening, your Support Fire Team also moves up forward as well, kind of like this. We'll send the Immortals up first, because those guys can move and shoot with their weapons because they have hot-shot lasguns. Your Deathmark, of course, lays suppressive fire, and it also moves up as well. And then from that point forward, your Assault Fire Teams and then your Assault Fire Team and Support Fire Team kind of intersects together and cuts through and kills whatever's left over your enemy. This is known as a fix as well as flank maneuvers, which are pretty much going to do for this one. Now, like I said before, this is a pretty direct approach, and the reason why that's the capable, because yes, while your Immortals are designed to be shooting, they do have their Spider Rigs attached to them as well, for being House Vansar outcasts, so they can slice those guys up too in close combat and actually get those versatile traits in as well. So it'll be very, very useful in order to take out your enemies apart. And this is pretty much how you're going to be using the Hierotek Circle on the tabletop in your games of Necromunda. So in conclusion, the Hierotek Circle is an excellent box set with some really interesting miniatures in it, and it's got a lot of character as well, which is kind of weird to say because they're robots, but still, they're actually quite dynamic looking. So because of that, you might want to use these guys in Necromunda. They make it also a really good Vansar gang as well. You could just say that they've just been too cybernetically enhanced. You could use them as a Vansar outcast gang, or any kind of outcast gang actually. You could actually make these guys into cold traders if you want to too, which would be actually kind of cool. But either way you look at it, though, the whole point of this whole video series is to show you how you can use a single box set of miniatures for multiple games. You want to do that so that way you can have a lot of flexibility with your miniatures, have a lot of fun with unique gaming experiences, and probably more importantly, save you a bunch of money at the exact same time. So that's good over this week, guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest latest hobby news related to this channel. That's good over this week, guys. We will catch you guys next one. Peace out and stay classy.